Hello and welcome to the bonsai garden on what is a fairly mild and pleasant day, and it's early in February, which means that we're soon approaching what is typically bonsai repotting season. And so what that means is I'm thinking ahead and preparing and getting myself ready, assessing which particular trees of mine are going to be repotted and whether I need to buy any new pots. And as a result of that, I've been on Etsy and I've been buying new pots, and this one has arrived today in the post, so I'm going to get into here, have a look, and I'm quite excited to see what this looks like. It's from a potter that I bought from before, Hinata Ceramics, which is run by a lovely lady called Elizabeth, and the pots are absolutely sublime. They're great craftsmanship gone into them. So I'm keen to get into here, have a look, and I'll show you exactly what I've got, and you'll see my reaction as and when I see the pot myself. So first thing to say is that I only ordered the pot about 2 days ago, so it really has expedited itself through the post to me. So I'm really quite happy with the customer service that I received from Elizabeth. Also, she has kept me well informed all throughout the buying process, which is great. And I don't doubt, having seen the pictures once you get in here, that this is going to be an absolutely beautiful pot. I've said before that I think Etsy, because it's essentially a marketplace for craft people, is a really good place to look if you're looking for pots that are perhaps a little bit more unique or bespoke, or with that sort of artisanal, handcrafted look. And that's certainly the case of the pots that I bought from Hinata Ceramics in the past, and I will showcase those pots towards the end of this video and give you all the details of where to buy those. So first of all, there's a card, and it just says on the back of there, "Thanks for another pot purchase, Jason. Hope you like it, Elizabeth." And I don't doubt for a minute that that will be the case. Now, initially inside here there's some bubble wrap. The tree looks like it's going to be fairly securely wrapped, so there's packing paper in there. The pot itself is surrounded by cardboard and bubble wrap to ensure no damage. So I'm just going to get the box out of the way. Opening up the card sleeve around the pot, and we're down to the final layer of bubble wrap. So the pot has certainly been secured against any damage in transit. The last thing you want to do is to buy an absolutely beautiful pot and that arrived in several pieces. Now, the last pot that I bought from Hinata Ceramics was actually a gift for somebody else, so I haven't seen that pot in person, but I have got the pictures of that, and again I will show you those later. So here we go. It's an unglazed drum style pot, circular design, studs around the outside, and it's actually a larger version of the small pot which was the first pot that I bought from Hinata Ceramics, and I'll show you that shortly. This is a lovely round drum pot with studs. Make a stamp in there. And here sat next to it now is the first pot that I bought, which is a slightly smaller drum style pot with a band effect around the top and the bottom. And again with lovely stud effect around there. I did initially buy this pot with the idea that I would be replanting this spruce into it, but I think on reflection and seeing it next to the current pot, it's possible that might be a bit shallow for that particular tree. Now I have got a number of drum pots on order from a couple of different suppliers on Etsy, so another one might be more suited to this particular tree. There is also another tree which is in need of repotting, and that's actually the dawn redwood tree, which I had damaged by the window cleaner, which is this one here. And I think the inner dimensions of that particular pot are closer to this one, so it may well be that that tree, which needs an emergency repot anyway, will go into that particular pot. And I think I shall conduct that shortly and get back to you and show you how that goes. Just before I commit myself to which tree is going into this pot, I'd just like to take a look at the spruce and actually take it out of this existing broken pot and just have a look and see how deep or shallow the roots are anyway, because there is a big bed of moss growing on here, which I think once that comes off will reveal that it can probably fit into a much smaller pot anyway. And I do think that this pot will be more suited to the spruce. One of the drum pots which I've got on order is a deeper red river clay, which I think is more suited to the colour of the bark on the dawn redwood tree. So the ideal would be to get this tree in there, but in order to do that I need to reduce down some of this just mat of stuff in the pot. So just move that out of the way, give me a bit more room to work. There's another part of the pot that was damaged by the window cleaner. But what I'm going to do with this one is just tip it up, take it out of the pot, have a look at the roots, and if I think that's something that can be worked into this particular pot, then that would be a more suitable solution. So I've loosened the wire that's securing that, and if I lift that out, and I've got a damaged pot that I can get rid of, and I'll start by taking this moss off the surface so we can actually see where the roots are. And that moss has grown quite thick around the tree, quite dense. So I've just got this huge mass of moss, I'll just put that to one side. And now I'm just going to gently tease out the roots with a root hook. And it does look to me like once I've teased these out a bit, that this tree will in fact go into the pot. And you can see that the soil that I use, even after it's been in there 2 or 3 years, is still quite gritty, free draining and loose, and that's the kind of soil that typically you'd want in your bonsai. I have in the past used a bit more regular compost and started reducing the amount of that I'm using now. Although it can give you a nice moisture retention mix that's particularly helpful in the summer months when it's quite dry, it can also open you up to insect pests in the soil as well. And so I'm looking going forward to reduce that a little bit. The bulk of my soil mix tends to be molar clay, aka cat litter, and I'm using Kitty Friend Pink. I'm a little bit concerned that that might get more difficult to source in the UK. I don't know if that's a result of Brexit or whether just the supply of molar clay is running out. I believe it comes from Denmark, and that it's mined from a particular location, and that the license for mining that there runs out at some point fairly soon. So I just trimmed down the root base a bit there. I've still got some anchoring wires in there which are just pulling out. So I've got a fairly flat root base there now. Whilst I'm at it, I'm also going to take off as much of this moss growing up the trunk as I can. That just stops the moss from holding moisture too close to the trunk, and for that staying wet for long periods of time, which might cause rot in the trunk, which is not what we want. So that's the tree prepared. Setting that in the pot. It might just need a little bit of trimming around the sides, so I'm just going to work my way around there, trim off some of that excess root, just to make sure that this fits into the pot now. Let's try that size again. And I think that should be okay. So I'm just going to put a bit of bonsai soil in the bottom of the pot there, put my potting mesh in, some anchoring wires. Okay, I've now prepared my pot. I've got some potting mesh that's secured into the bottom. I've got a couple of tie down wires. Because it's a circular pot, I don't need to worry too much about what is the front of the tree. Although what I might want to do is balance up the position of the tree so it is off centre there by quite a way. So perhaps if I trim some more of the root off this side. And that can go into a more central position in the pot, which I'm much happier with. So now adding some bonsai soil. So there's a heap of that in the centre of the pot now. And I'll just wiggle the tree down onto that, settle it, make sure that the soil is under the root base, and then I need to secure the tie down wires. So we're just loosely in place there. I'm just going to get my pliers and tighten that up. So I'm just pulling and twisting just to secure the tree down. And same on this side, just pulling and twisting. And then with my lovely trusty wire cutters, I'm just taking off some of that excess. And now I just need to cover this with some more bonsai soil. And so that's the tree secured into its new pot. So I'm just going to finish up this repotting just by making sure that the tree is watered into the new pot, and that will settle the soil and also make sure that the tree roots have got some water. So here's the tree in its new pot. Let me know what you think. Hope you found that useful and interesting. If so, please consider subscribing, like, comment below, and check out Hinata Ceramics on Etsy. Hope to catch you in the next one. Just open the